Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Crit. Today I wanted to discuss the upcoming 3.0 update for Fire Emblem Heroes. We just recently had maintenance and we will be awaiting the actual app update for this month considering it's already December. So I'm thinking that pretty shortly here we should be seeing the 3.0 update. It also does seem like we will be getting a non-Christmas character banner as the next banner that's coming out because they didn't announce that there would be special heroes. So it does really seem like that update should be coming very, very soon. It's possible that they decided to wait and skip this week because of the Smash Bros. Ultimate release, which is going to be happening on December 7th. Perhaps they thought that would be just too much information in 1 week and it'd be glossed over by a lot of the players. So maybe they're waiting for next week. But it does really seem like by December 9th, we'll probably know about 3.0. And honestly, I just wanted to kind of get into it and talk to you guys about this today. I had some mixed reactions on the last Heroes video that I did about Heroes slowly dying. Of course, the title was pretty hyperbolic, especially for my standards. Usually I try not to go that far with things, but I really do feel like if Heroes doesn't change anything soon, it will continue to slowly die. Obviously, the game's been doing quite well financially, but it does seem to be bleeding players, especially if you do take a look at that video. Take a look at the amount of likes and comments on that video. While that video was pretty polarizing, a lot of you guys did agree with it, and in fact, over 90% of you in the comment section did agree with the video in some way or another, and I'd say 90% is pretty conservative considering most of the comments were of that realm. And while it may have just been possible that those who were disagreeing with the video and upset by the video just left the video and didn't end up leaving comments, I would say that there is at least a pretty large portion of the Fire Emblem Heroes fan base that's not too happy with the game at the current moment or are kind of losing interest, or maybe it's just become the type of game where they just log in, collect their freebies, and log out. So honestly, I do really think that this update, this 3.0 update, is going to be the make it or break it moment for Fire Emblem Heroes, because if you think back to version 2.0, those changes have lasted for the entire year of 2018. And honestly, if 3.0 is just about the same as 2.0, then at this point next year, I don't see the game doing as well as it is right now. I think it's going to plateau. I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to bleed over the year of 2019. And I think by this point, it's just going to be those who are really loving the game, really just hanging on for the next stuff to come out. And of course, we could honestly get a big update at the middle of next year. Who knows? I mean, they always like to be surprising with this kind of stuff and like to fool us. So always possible. But judging by what they've done in 2018, which is all I have to go off of, that was our major update, was the very end of the year with 2.0. And while 2.0 definitely did bring some good stuff, it wasn't enough, in my opinion, to carry us through the entire year of 2018. And that's why we're kind of seeing these issues right now. So I'm really, really hoping that 3.0 is a massive update to Fire Emblem Heroes. And I hope that we'll get a lot of stuff that really helps with the longevity of the game, gives us a good variety of new content and also new ways to play, and just enough that'll take us at least a good portion into 2019 without being bored of the content and getting back to the point where we're at right now. So as far as some of the stuff that we do know that's coming or is potentially hinted at, there was actually an image that they accidentally leaked out. It looks like a pretty innocuous image because they're just showing us the raiding parties, which they've just added into our menus. However, it looks like they actually made a mistake and left in something that they didn't mean to, unless they were just trying to tease us and leave that in there on purpose. But it does appear to show that there will in fact be a light blessing and a dark blessing, which could imply that we're getting 2 more new seasons and potentially up to 8 more legendary heroes. And I think most of us did assume that we would get more legendary heroes, maybe beyond that initial kind of grid that they share each time they update it, considering we have a lot of main characters that have been left out, like Seliph, Sigurd, Roy, Alm. There's a bunch of people that have not had legendary hero variants. And while honestly we don't need a new variant of everybody, a lot of the people that they have left out are characters that either don't have an alt or could use another alt, honestly, and wouldn't be too bad if they got one. So having 8 new potential legendary heroes I think is a good thing. It's interesting to see that we're possibly getting a light blessing and a dark blessing, but honestly that kind of excites me as far as with the glows behind the character at the very least. Another thing that we do know about is it looks like from one of the data mines we did end up finding out that there is an ability programmed into the game that looks like it's part of a weapon and is actually going to be a triangle attack weapon. So they might be planning a weapon refine for somebody or a brand new weapon or who knows, a new character who happens to have the triangle attack ability. So the skill definition reads, if the number of allies within unknown spaces is greater than or equal to unknown, grant stats plus blank during combat and unit attacks twice. So that's very, very similar to honestly what it sounds like the triangle attack, because if you have a certain number of allies around you, so kind of interesting. We also know with this update that we're going to be getting Book 3, or at least the very beginning of Book 3, who knows how many chapters, and we did get a very cryptic little brief trailer snippet at the end of the last Fae channel that shows that Book 3 seems like it's going to be a little bit darker than what we're used to, but honestly, judging by this other trailer that we got here, which is Fire Emblem Heroes Remembering Books 1 and 2, kind of just a brief look back over Books 1 and 2 and the cinematic CG cutscenes that we've gotten. And it looks like what we're seeing is actually Alphonse standing above two bodies, which could very well be the bodies of the King and Queen of Asker, who we've actually never met, but we assume to be Alphonse and Sharena's parents. So honestly, if they're just going to go this realm, typical Fire Emblem trope with the dead parents or parents being killed as part of a plot twist in the game, really not exciting there, if you ask me, unfortunately. And the fact that we've actually never met them probably means that we're going to be introduced to them in Book 3, and then shortly thereafter they're going to be killed off, which doesn't really leave a lot of time for character development and for us to get attached to them. And honestly, just having another tropey Fire Emblem kind of plot point like that really doesn't excite me for Book 3, but I do hope that they do a good job of it. But I'm definitely going to be open-minded until we actually get it and we see what's happening. I also wanted to point out that a lot of us have been hoping for beast units for a very long time in Fire Emblem Heroes. It seems to be something that they've been kind of holding off, because while we do have Manicheets, dragon shapeshifters, we don't have shapeshifters of any other variety, like the Togwell, the Lagoos from Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. None of those have made it into the game, and it does really seem like they're kind of waiting for a big, massive game change to introduce them, because honestly, it would shake up a lot of stuff. I mean, from very early on, we speculated maybe there's another different orb color to summon from. I don't really see them doing that anymore, even though they totally could. There's other colors that they even show in the summoning animation, like a yellow orb. But I think at this point, what they might honestly do, if they're going to do this, is probably just take the sort of Manicheet dragon class and kind of adapt it to work with other beast units as well. Maybe they'll be physical dragons that actually, instead of being physical units that have magical attacks, maybe they're actually just physical units with physical attacks, but they're of that dragon class variety. Honestly, that'd be kind of lame, so I do hope that we get a little something beyond just that. But I also did want to point out that we do happen to know all of the top characters from Choose Your Legends 2 that haven't made it into the game just yet. So these are the characters that all of you guys out there voted on and really wanted, and most of these characters are actually beast characters. So now is the time for them to introduce them, in my opinion. I mean, we've got characters here like Selkie, Tabarn, Ranulf, Keaton, and Pan. Just a wide variety of beast characters from all throughout the series. And honestly, considering they're starting to populate and fill up our top lists that have not made it into the game yet, it seems like they're going to have to focus on this very soon, or come up with some sort of an excuse as to why they're not, because this is what fans obviously want. So they're either going to do it, or they're going to potentially delay it even further, and I just don't see why they would do that. So, I mean, we're talking here the overall top 5 characters that have not been added to the game. The top 5 characters, every single one of them is a beast unit. I mean, if they're not going to give us beast units, then they definitely need to start explaining themselves as to why, because at this point, it's beasts or go home. We also do know, thanks to their kind of preemptive message before we got this new Fates Adrift banner that they knew people would be upset about, they did let us know that we will be getting a Radiant Dawn banner in January of 2019 and a Binding Blade banner in March of 2019. And, once again, we think that they do this because people are going to get mad because the next banner is going to be an Awakening or Fates banner, and people are kind of generally pretty tired of those banners at this point. But one thing that I did want to point out here too is that it also does kind of coincide with the beast units, because if we did see a Radiant Dawn banner in January, they could continue adding beast units if this update we're going to see soon has them, because Radiant Dawn definitely has a lot of opportunities for them to add some cool beast characters. Personally, I would love to see Moirim, just the green tiger character. That would be pretty awesome in my opinion. I kind of liked him the best out of all the tigers, so maybe that's just me. But anyway, I just think that that could be additive on top of this potential 3.0 update. If they do add the beast characters, it would make some sense. I think honestly 3.0 is a good time for them to do so, and I hope that we see some kind of big game change along with it, because I think it's about time that we got something a little bit different here. So yeah, I definitely love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I really do think that this is going to be a make it or break it update for Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm hoping for new modes. I think Ether Raids is a pretty cool mode, but I just don't think that it's going to fix the game long term, and people that are already losing interest in leaving the game I just don't see them sticking around for Ether raids. I don't think that's the mode that changes their mind. I think we need something more. So I really do hope that they're on that and also paying attention to fan feedback submitted through the game, because I think a lot of you guys out there have been submitting feedback, especially when you're upset and disappointed at stuff. So who knows? I've seen a lot of people recently jumping over to other games like Dragalia Lost. A lot of people have actually even mentioned that the creators of Dragalia Lost are also very active and seem to be paying attention to the subreddit and a bunch of other stuff like that, because when complaints are made, they seem to get addressed very, very quickly. So that would be something that would be really nice to see for Fire Emblem Heroes, but I don't think they're quite as on top of it as they should be. As far as the summoning pool goes, it does seem like they did pay attention or realize that that was becoming a growing problem last year at this point, because with 2.0, we did receive a lot of changes to the summoning pool. But honestly, I think my biggest complaint with all of this is just that if this is going to be the major update of the year, I don't think that it's ever enough or ever going to be enough to sustain us for an entire other year to get to this point next year in 2019. I think we need to see at least one major update every 6 months. This update might perhaps last us into the summer, who knows, but honestly, we need more. We can't be waiting an entire year for summoning pool changes. The game has changed so massively over this time that the summoning pool just becomes garbage again by the time the next update rolls around, which perhaps is what they wanted, but at this point, I think a lot of you guys out there have even been asking for skill revamps on characters to be able to unlock certain skills that are not quite as good anymore on 4-star characters. One of the big ones I saw going around was probably Swift Sparrow and some skills like that that really don't see that much play anymore, that are still pretty good, but still super hard to acquire. So it would be nice to see them become a little bit more easy to acquire and to get on characters without having to expend those feathers. So perhaps we could use a skill rebalance as far as when skills unlock. Maybe take some of those 5-star exclusive skills, make them 4-star exclusives. I think one of the last major ones that we got was probably Soth, with Life and Death available at 4 stars. That was a long time ago already. I think we're due for some kind of big change. I would love to see something like Quick Riposte available at 4-star. I don't know that we'll ever see that, but that would certainly make it a lot easier to grab that skill, because that's one that is pretty useful on a lot of builds and still very, very hard to get unless you've got 20k feathers to throw every single time you need that skill. But that's just my recommendation. We also did get the weapon refinery as a part of the 2.0 update, and while that was a great addition to the game, I think that the actual refinery updates coming out, rolling out, have been rather slow and pretty much too few and far between, and they just need to happen a little bit more often, because there's still a lot of units that are kind of sidelined or backlined that really just could use a little bit more love, and it seems like they're not going to get that love, at least for the next little while, considering we only get refinery updates like every couple of months. So honestly, I'd love to see that happen more often, maybe even every single month with each major update, maybe more characters each time. I do obviously realize that they have to balance that out and figure things out, but there's just so many characters out there that we have that could use a lot of love to get back to the modern standard, even just to be, remotely usable again. Obviously, as I always say, you can make pretty much every character in the game good as far as the skills that you give them and the team that you build around them, but there's characters that definitely need a little bit of extra help, and so I'd love to see these updates more often and to get a lot of these characters back up to, an even keel with everybody else sooner, because otherwise we wait a long time for these updates, and by the time we get the refines, there's already more people that need more refines, and it's just going to be never ending as far as that goes. So yeah, I definitely love to see more of that in 2019 for sure. I've said it in a number of other videos too, but I would love to see some expansions to our castle, because I kind of feel like for a castle, it's just not very castle-like. And I get that it's supposed to be sort of your kind of home base, your menu system, that's where all your stuff is. But honestly, I would love to have some kind of a feature where you could see your heroes doing stuff or explore various parts of the castle. It's honestly something that it looks like we're going to be seeing in Fire Emblem 3 Houses, so I am definitely very excited for that. But I would love to have some kind of upgrade to our standard castle in Fire Emblem Heroes. At the very, very least, like I've said many times before, I would really like to see at least seasonal backdrops or potentially more castle backgrounds for us to use. I'm thoroughly bored of staring at the same castle backdrops, and I'm even to the point where every couple of weeks I'll switch it to a different backdrop just to kind of shake things up and change it up a little bit, and I'm still bored now when I change them back and forth between the different colors and stuff. So I think we just need more of that. It's going to make it more exciting and interesting. Other games do a good job of doing that whenever there's, seasonal stuff happening like the holidays. They'll definitely change up their kind of main screen that you get to look at. So I love that, and I don't really know why Heroes has not done that to any degree, But yeah, I'd like to see that a lot. I've also spoken many times on potentially having some kind of a raid boss mode where you can fight with other players in real time. That does present some issues, but I think that ultimately it's something that would be awesome for the game and something that they could figure out and make work and make balance to a degree. But it would be awesome to control one unit and have your friends or other players control some other units, help to fight bosses in that way, or perhaps some kind of a Tower of Valny-like dungeon. I would love to fight monsters in this game, akin to Gaiden and Sacred Stones. So honestly, I'd be super stoked even if they just introduced that. I don't know how long that would last as far as content, but there's just so many things that they can do for this game and new modes they can create that I think would spark some new interest in the game and bring people back. Another thing that I would really like at this point is I would really want there to be another way for us to get more copies of characters. A lot of the other gacha games that I've been playing, especially recently, have other ways for you to unlock and enhance your characters and bring them to the next, star rarity or whatever. And thankfully in those other games, it doesn't always require another exact copy of that character. You either need, shards of that character or, other resources that you can collect and use to unlock that character further. So it's never quite as restrictive as Fire Emblem Heroes in that regard. And I like that a lot because especially with a lot of these seasonal characters, it really does seem like we're getting to the point where you're better off just focusing on the standard F2P characters, getting them to plus 10, characters like Noe, Sheena, Gwen, Effie, characters like Soleil. There's a lot of really, really great F2P units that are a lot easier to get to plus 10 than obviously wailing and spending a lot of money on the game to get like a plus 10, Christmas Tharja or something like that. So I would really love to see another system to be able to get ourselves some plus 10s of other characters. Because really, if you want to do high tier arena or any of the late game content, it's probably a lot better that you have plus 10 units. And the fact that these seasonal characters are limited is really honestly kind of souring them in my book and makes them seem less and less valuable as time goes on. So I really would like to see another system where we can enhance them and get more merges on them without having to pull, 10, 11 copies of each character. So I think there's also a huge missed potential and missed opportunity with the Ether Raids to have your own sort of castle backdrop music. Imagine if you can change the track theme depending on your character teams and who you have set up in there. I saw somebody on Reddit who wanted, Wind Across the Plains from Fire Emblem 7 playing because they had an all-Lin team. I thought that was pretty cool. So there's just so many little areas of opportunity that I think that they can use and utilize to enhance the game and just add a little bit more of that Fire Emblem spark and get people re-interested in the game. And it wouldn't even take that much effort, I don't think. So honestly, I just hope that they can kind of take all of the fan feedback, put it together, and I hope that 3.0 is going to be something amazing for the game, because otherwise, I mean, I'm going to continue playing it, and so maybe you think that this video is moot because of that, but I really am nervous for the future of the game because I know that there's going to be a lot more people that will quit Fire Emblem Heroes in 2019 if 3.0 does not bring anything major and anything worthwhile that's going to last us until this point next year. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to know where you guys are at. Also be sure to get subscribed if you want to see more content like this and more updates for Fire Emblem Heroes and other Fire Emblem news. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for the same thing if you want to get news and updates on the fly, which are obviously faster than videos can come out. If you want to discuss things further beyond this video, be sure to join us over on our Discord server. Thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons who help to make content like this possible. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, I will see you all in the next episode.